Hey everybody, welcome back to the Sunday Special. Today we are taking a look at the best race pins from the 2020 season. Now, I'm going to do them in order of who won the races first, and then we'll take a look at kind of my favorite ones, which ones I like the most, and we'll kind of go from there. So we're going to start with the guys who got a single win, or at least that I have a single pin for them. So we'll start with, obviously, like McDowell, Bubba Wallace, Kurt Busch, AJ Allmendinger, guys that got just one win, and then we'll go on to the guys that maybe got 2 wins, 3 wins, and 4, and so on. So we'll start with the single wins. Let's start the first of the year, the Daytona 500. So this is the 2021 Daytona 500 pin. This will go with the Michael McDowell car as soon as it comes in, hopefully within the next week. And so, yes, this is our awesome looking pin. A little smaller than what I would normally choose, but it's still a good logo. Obviously, I believe they've already shown the logo for next year, so should be a good one going into next year. But I said Michael McDowell getting his first career win, kind of a cool one there. Next on the list is going to be Brad Keselowski. Only got a single win this year at the 2021 Geico 500, so April 25th, 2021, and pretty similar to a lot of the Geico 500 pins. Not super big. Again, it's also, what I mean by super big will be shown later when we get some really big pins, but a good looking pin nonetheless. Like I said, it fits the theme of the race and everything just fine, so this will go great with that car as soon as it comes in. I actually have some of those for the Brad Keselowski Racewing cars when they come in as well. Let's see, next on our list is actually going to be the race, what do I call it? Let's see, the Quaker State 400, presented by Walmart from July 31st, 2021. Let's get this out of the bag. The other ones are in a sealed box. This is actually just in a little baggie. But this is the Quaker State 400, July 11th, 2021, from Atlanta. Kurt Busch got this win. Obviously, that was the great race where Ross Chastain helped kind of block Kyle and give Kurt the lead. We all kind of remember that. And so, yeah, it's a decent-looking pin. A little small, logo's pretty good. I think that part of the bottom with Walmart's a little big. But, again, we'll get into my favorites here towards the end. The very next week, we actually have a pin from that. That was the Fox Woods Resort and Casino 301 at New Hampshire, July 18th, 2021. I actually really like this pin. It's a good-sized pin. Like, it's pretty tall, pretty good size. It has really, very cool theme to it, just the way it's colored and everything. So really like this pin, but this is for Eric Almirola's win at New Hampshire this year. So that's a pretty cool one to have added as well. First time I'll have a pin for an Eric Almirola car. Next on the list will be the Inaugural Verizon 200 at the Brickyard. This was the race I got to see in person. This was obviously the race AJ Allmendinger got the win, so this will go great with my seen in person collection kind of thing. And this obviously will go with some other ones, but definitely a pretty good looking pin. I like the way the logo turned out, and I'm pretty happy with that one. And our last one for the single race wins on the year is going to be Bubba Wallace's Yellowwood 500 win from Talladega, October 3rd, 2021. Very similar theme to the pin from before. Got the date, got the color, the logo. It all looks pretty solid, and it's a decent size. Not super big, but it's decent. So it does fit real good into the race win pin collection. But yeah, so that's Bubba Wallace's win from Talladega. Let's see. Next on the list, I'm actually going to do Martin Truex Jr. I know he had like 4 wins, 3 or 4 wins, but from what I know, I only got like a single pin. I don't think the Phoenix race had a pin made, as far as I know. I don't believe, because they didn't have fans there, or not enough fans, I don't believe they had a pin for his second win, which was, why am I forgetting? Martinsville. I don't think they had a pin at Martinsville either. They did have this pin. This is the Goodyear 400 pin from Darlington. And then I believe they had a pin from Richmond, but that pin has not come in yet. So I got all of them but that one. But this is the Goodyear 400 pin. Very small. You can see it's just the size of the tip of my finger there. Date is on the side, so it's going to sit wonky. It's not going to sit upright when you try to set it in a case or something. Again, captures the logo from the race and everything. Just seems, basic. I don't know. That would be the only way to put it. It's not a bad pin. It's definitely not making my top 10. We'll put it that way. Next on the list, we'll go to a guy that won 2 races, but they didn't make the pin for the second. Kyle Busch winning the Bushy McBusch race at Kansas Speedway. And obviously, it's kind of just a wacky name for a race, so that's kind of fun to have. That, and of course, I was at this race, so that always helps. But yeah, they did not make his Pocono pin, so this is the only one they made. You can see just in general, it's I don't know. It's a weird, wacky race in terms of the name of it, so it's kind of cool that way. But being as I got to see it in person, obviously I was getting it. The next one's got to be Chase Elliott's Circuit of the Americas pin set, and this is a whole set of pins. They didn't actually have a pin, as far as I know, from Road America, and they did have this set from Circuit of the Americas earlier in the spring. So you can see we got the Texas Grand Prix at Circuit of the Americas up there, the Echo Park. So that's the actual race pin. The other one's just a track pin. Then we have the this is a long pin across the bottom, one of 500 pin sets. So actually that's not that many pins, but you can see we have this weird one up in the corner that's just the state of Texas, the tower, the shape of the racetrack, and then their logo. So that one's just there. Then you have the track logo, then you have the actual event logo, and then you just have the 3-piece collector set. This is actually a pin in itself across the bottom. So cool set. It'll go good with that Coda win when it comes in. So next on our list, we're going to go to Denny Hamlin, who had a couple of wins this year. Actually, let's go ahead and put this up there. We don't want to leave that one out. We'll go to Denny Hamlin next. He won a couple of races this year, the first of which was the Cookout Southern 500 at Darlington Raceway. I am loving this pin. I think the logo looks awesome. I think the way that it's layered looks really good. It's a good-sized pin. This one just looks nice. Like, this is a solid pin. This is a really cool one. I think it's even, yeah, it's got double pins in the back, so it's big enough they thought that 2 were going to be required to hold it up. So nice heavy pin. I kind of like those. The next one on the list actually is not one of my favorites. This is the South Point Casino 400. A lot smaller on this one. You can see it's a pretty small. You can see the size of my thumb there. So it's all kind of gold, which does look pretty nice. The logo's okay. It's just very, very small. So so that one's, again, he won a couple races. Probably almost had Martinsville, but didn't end up getting there. So but the South Point Casino 400 pin is pretty decent. It's just a little small for my likings. So next we're going to go move on to Alex Bowman. So Bowman won 3 races this year, the first of which was at Richmond. This is one of the smallest pins I've seen, April 28th, 2021, but you can see it is the size of the tip of my thumb. And you can see it's the Toyota Owners 400 at Richmond Raceway, April 18th, 2021. But yes, a very, very small pin on this one. And it's not a bad pin. The logo's fine. It's just it's small. They could probably have enlarged it quite a bit. I'd be much happier with it. The next one's actually one of the coolest pins on this list. This is going to be the Dryden 400 from Dover, May 16th, 2021. This will also be another Alex Bowman special. And so this pin will go with the... how many times did Bowman win this year? Did he win 4 or 3? He did win 4, so they didn't make his Pocono one. I lied. I forgot about that. They didn't make any Pocono pins, so yeah, there is no pin for that, but there is a pin for Dover. Don't know why that randomly hit me, but yeah, the Dryden 400, very good-looking pin. I actually really like that one. Next on the list is his final race win of the season was the Xfinity 500, October 31st, 2021 at Martinsville. Nice, good-sized pin. Literally has 2 pin holders in the back, so good size. The logo looks really nice. This is a really cool pin. It's going to go awesome with that raced version when that comes out. So, yeah, definitely got some good ones there. I got to remember, I don't think I have extras of any of these. The Bowmans were all a troublesome group to get pin-wise. But the rest of them so far, I believe I've got pins for. I don't have Daytona pins. I don't have Indy pins, but I got the Kansas pins. I've got some extra these. So I've got a decent amount of extra pins that are to go with race wins when they come in. But if I can't get a hold of enough race wins, feel free to contact me if you're looking for any, because I do have some from last year too. But here we go. This is the Ryan Blaney bunch. This is the Fold of Honor Quick Trip 500. March 21st, 2021 at Atlanta. And you can see just overall, pretty simple pin. I actually really like the way it turned out. We got our Folds of Honor up the top, then you have the Quick Trip logo in the middle. 500 Atlanta Motor Speedway's logo is in there, not just the name, and then the date. So good size, little lack of creativity. It's just a single layer pin. And what do I mean by a layered pin? A layered pin is something like this. I'm showing you one early, but you can see, oops, there we go. You can see there's literally layers to it. It's actually like, different layers. This is going to be a single layer pin across the top. Still looks fine, but I just prefer double layer. I think they look cooler. So yes, the next on the Ryan Blaney list is going to be this one here. This is the Firekeepers Casino 400 from Michigan. I believe this was his second win of the year. The only difference between this one and the one that went with the Harvick car is the flames kind of coming across the bottom with the date of August 22nd, 2021. So a little difference to the pin there, but otherwise it's pretty much the same as last year's. A little small. You can see the tip of my thumb's pretty big on it, but it's definitely within reason. It's not like super small like a couple of them. And the last one for Ryan Blaney, the Coke Zero 400 at Daytona. August 29th, 2021. I actually really like this one. I think the shape of it looks cool. I think it all ties together really nicely. The way it's layered is nice. And then the color combination is pretty solid. So Ryan Blaney has 3 pretty decent pins, and the last one's a really nice pin. So I'm going to try and get them all in here so you can see all the pins when it's all said and done. There we go. That's better. Okay, so as you can probably guess, there's probably somebody that got left out. I'm trying to think who that might have been, because they didn't make pins for either of the Pocono races. So we didn't have a pin for the Bowman or the Kyle Busch. There we go, I remembered. Joey Logano and the Bristol Dirt Race pin, I could not get a hold of any of those. Those were insanely expensive, and they are really, really hard to find. So no Joey Logano dirt pin for me this year, unfortunately, but that's okay. I wasn't at the race or anything, so it's nothing too bad. But yes, that is one of the pins I don't have, is the Joey Logano. So unfortunately, that one is not in there. And then, as I said, some Truex ones missing from early in the season. I don't know if there's anyone else missing that I can remember. But next, we're going to go up through our final guy. You're going to be able to tell exactly who it is because I've got 11 pins, I believe, to show. So you know who this is. Our champion, Kyle Larson. First on that list is going to be the Pennzoil 400 from Las Vegas, March 7th, 2021. And you can see it's a single layer pin. Or no, it is a layered pin. The Pennzoil logo up top is layered. And then got Las Vegas there, which isn't the logo. But it's, again, pretty solid. Very much like the Quick Trip one where there's a lot of chrome on it, which is fine. But you can definitely see it's got the same, font and style to it. So probably of Kyle Larson's, it's one of the least favorite, and that's not the pin's fault. There's a lot of good ones coming. The second race of the year that Kyle Larson won, I have to remember when this was. That's June. Did he really not win again till June? No. He won earlier than June. May. I think the Coke 600 might have been his second win. I have to look again. Yes, it is. So the Coke 600 was his second win of the year. That's crazy. But this is a Coke 600 pin. It is also layered. The American flag is one layer, and then the Coke 600 up front is the second layer. May 30th, 2021. Different looking logo for the Coke 600, honestly, but looks pretty solid. We got the Charlotte, USA with the Speedway Motorsports logo, so that looks pretty nice. But yeah, this will go great with his Coke 600 car. The colors are a little bland on the Coke logo. I don't know. I just think it could look a little better. The 600 is a little dark, maybe. But yeah, for his second win of the year, I didn't realize it was that early. Let's see. Next on the list is going to be stuff from June. Now, into June is where he won his third race of the year at Sonoma, California, the Toyota Save Mart 350, June 6, 2021. And you can see we've got the grapes up top. We've got the Toyota logo in the middle, 350, June 6th, 2021 on the bottom. So, very solid pin there for that one. And this was when he would go on his stretch of 4 in a row. So, the next one on the list is going to be the June 13th race at Texas Motor Speedway. This is the All-Star pin this year. It is a full-blown rectangle, goes straight around, and then you can see we've got the All-Star logo in the middle, and then not sure what the logo is in the back. You can see part of it is the Texas flag, and the other part I'm really not sure what that outline is behind. So I'm not sure specifically what it is, but we do have an outline behind in the Texas flag. If you know what it is, I think it might be someone holding up the 6-shooters with a cowboy hat, if I had to guess. I'm thinking that's what it is. So, but anyway, that was another one. Then his third in a row would be this one here, the Ally 400 at Nashville. They actually have 2 pins for this. They made 2 of them. They made this one and this one. I picked up a few of each just because I wasn't sure which one I'd like more. One of them is this pin, which is a little bit bigger than the other one as far as the logo, and then it doesn't have the guitar pick shape to it. This one has a backing of a guitar pick, and then the actual pin is a little smaller. This one's a little bigger, no guitar pick, but both of them look really solid. I think this one has 2 pins, this one has 1. So I have a few of each of these, luckily. But yeah, I like both of them. I'm not really sure which one I'm going to end up leaving with it, because it's kind of cool to have 2 different pins for the race. But yeah, they both look really solid. I mean, the addition of the guitar pick doesn't hurt it at all, but this one is also much more simplified. So again, like them both for sure. Next on the list, because that Pocono race where he didn't end up winning cut his streak, I believe, what is that now? That's 1, 2, 3, 4 points paying races before they got to the playoffs, I believe. And then once they got to the playoffs, did he win 6 playoff races? Let me see here. He won. one playoff race. Oh, no. Here we go. This one's not a playoff race. I knew something was up there. Okay, here we go. There we go. That's better. Okay. So, with this one, it's going to be the Go Bowling at the Glen. This was the race where he was getting chased down by Chase Elliott, but he could not get there in time. And this was August 8th, 2021. This was his 5th win of the year. And this is only the halfway point in August. So he definitely got even faster by the end of the year. But Watkins Glen, New York, August 8th, 2021. But yeah, it's very similar to the Chase Elliott pin from a couple years ago. It's got the Go Bowling, the pins. Watkins Glen logo isn't in there, so I'm not as big on that. But it's still a pretty decent pin. Definitely captures the race just fine in terms of its logo. All right, let's slide these all up so I can make room for another layer. All right, next on this list is another race that I attended in person this year. This is the Bristol Night Race, September 19th, 2021, the NRA Night Race, or the Bass Pro Shops NRA Night Race at Bristol Motor Speedway. Notice how it does not say 500. It's just called the Bass Pro Shops NRA Night Race. They do not mention the length of the race, so I think that's very interesting that they're kind of marketing that way, but it looks good. It actually works really well next to the other pin. They did not make a pin for last year, which very much upset me, but they did make a pin for the year before in 2019. This one's a little smaller, but it's still a very solid looking pin. Again, the only thing layered on this one is the bass. The bass is its own layer. Everything else is a single layer across, and then so that's the second layer. But sorry, it's having trouble focusing. But yeah, very, very solid pin. I do have some extras of those. Next on the list is going to be the Charlotte Roble. This is actually a really unique pin, probably one of the cooler ones. Once we get to the finals, obviously you'll find out my top 10. But this one here, you can see we've got the silver stars all the way around in a circle, and then we've got the Bank of America Roble 400 logo in the middle, October 10th, 2021, with a Charlotte Motor Speedway logo. It's very simplified. It's just a very good-looking pin, though. I mean, it really is eye-catching. You know, if you're talking about where you have these pinned at on a jacket, on a hat, they're called hat pins, so they're supposed to get pinned to a hat, but I've seen people pin them to the jackets or pin them to other things. Obviously, I keep them with the cars. But just in general, a very cool, there's a little hair on there, a very cool looking pin, very unique compared to all the rest of the pins that have been shown so far. But the Roble pin, definitely a very unique pin. Next pin on this list is going to be Texas, actually a very small pin. You can see the logo itself is very, very detailed, so you can see how small it is, but yet you can see all these little parts and pieces. They got the Auto Trado Echo Park Automotive 500 Texas Motor Speedway. You can see there's even the Texas Motor Speedway or the SMI logos on each side, but it's so small it's hard to see. So if the pin was bigger, it would probably be one of the top pins, but unfortunately with its size, it's really hard to tell what it's saying. Even the 500 can be hard to read because it's so small. But it's still, don't get me wrong, it's still a really cool and nice looking pin. It's just too small to be, one of the top. So this next pin is going to be one of my favorites personally because I was there, but the Hollywood Casino 400 on October 24th, 2021. Nice big pin. It's got 2 pins in the back, or 2 pin holders to keep it up. But just in general, a very large pin. It is layered this year. Last year's was a very small Hollywood Casino pin. The best way to put it is, I gotta look and see. Yeah, the last one was about probably half this size, and looked about the same artwork-wise. There's not really anything different. It's just bigger. Like, this pin is just strictly bigger than the one before it. So it looks really, really sharp. I really like it. Reminds me a lot like that the Xfinity 500 pin. I really like that one. But the last one is going to be the Championship Weekend at Phoenix 2021 pin. This is just, it captures the weekend so well. We got plenty of colors. We got the NASCAR logo. We got the 2021 in there. It just really, the fonts and everything, the logo on this looks very, very nice. It's probably one of the best. It's only got, I think, 3 layers or 2 layers. Only 2 layers. The NASCAR Championship Weekend at Phoenix, and then the back piece is the 2021 and the rest of it. So a very, very good looking logo, and the pin does, it's a good looking pin color wise. So that is the whole season. That's everything in here. Now what makes me appreciate which certain pins? Well, the first thing is the logo. Does the logo capture? Does it have good color? Does it, does the logo look like something that you can go like, oh, I remember that, strictly based on its logo? Again, the color is part of that. So having a race where it's sponsored by Pennzoil, for instance, where you have the yellow Pennzoil, but the rest of it's all silver, it doesn't really mesh well with the rest of the pin, where some of them, for instance, I'm going to pull the Xfinity 500 pin. You can see the date is in red because they're trying to make it tie into the logo for Xfinity. So that's what I mean by does it all kind of flow together. Also, size can play a role. Having a little bit bigger pin, in my opinion, makes it a little bit nicer because you can just see it better. But yeah, we're going to go ahead and go through my top 10 personally. They're in kind of an order. I don't have it specifically picked out for sure, but yeah, we're going to just kind of roll and go into it. So at number 10, we're actually going to go with the Foxwood Casino 301. So the reason I like this pin, again, single layer all the way across, but a lot of good colors. The whole pin really does fit together in one solid logo. The New Hampshire Motor Speedway logo is not just written, it is the whole full-blown, logo of the Speedway there. I think that always helps as well. So that comes in at the number 10 position. Now, coming in at the number 9 position is actually going to be one of Kyle Larson's pins. It's going to be the Coca-Cola 600. And the only thing that really helps this one get into the top 10 is the fact that it's got the American flag layered across the background. So the Coke 600 pin here, mediocre, it's okay, but then you add the American flag across the back. I really like the way this pin looks. That's what brings it in at number 9. Now coming in at the number 8 spot, you're probably going to be surprised, but it's actually this one here. This is the inaugural Verizon 200 at the Brickyard. It's smaller, but it's very compact. The Verizon logo is there. You can see we even have the Indianapolis Motor Speedway logo, August 15th, 2021. So the colors of this one really do mix together well. I just think it really does have a nice look to it. A little smaller. It's probably also biased because I was there, I'm not going to lie. That's definitely going to play a role. So that one's going to come in at number 8, just strictly, maybe mostly on bias. I don't know. Coming in at number 7, the Cookout Southern 500. I probably should have put this one higher on the list, but this will be grouped with a few others. The overall logo just looks fantastic. The layering looks good, the way the date's in there. 2 pins on the back. It's a very big, heavy, solid pin. Again, this one can probably be subbed with the next 2. They're all about on the same level, but the next 2 probably got preference just on a couple of little things. The next of which is going to be the Hollywood Casino 400 pin, the one I saw in person. The logo looks good. The art looks pretty solid all the way across. I was obviously there, so I would maybe say that, honestly, if I were being objective, this one would go here. So maybe this one would be 7 and this one would be 6, the Cookout Southern 10, 9, 8, 7, 6. Yeah, I was right. So number 6 would be the Cookout Southern 500. Just the colors mesh a little bit better on that one, but they both look really good. Now, coming in at number 5 is going to be another one of those pins. It's actually... sorry. That's one of my favorites. Number 5 is going to be this one here. This is the Bank of America Roble 400 pin. I think the silver around the outside with all the stars really makes this one pop. It's really noticeable. You dump this whole thing out on, and I look at them on the table. This one does catch my eye. And I said, you got Charlotte Motor Speedway's logo and the Roble logo in there, and it looks really good. Plus, you even have, the red and white curbing up there. So that one will bring it in at number 5. Coming in at the number 4 position is going to be the Ally 400 pin set. I'm going to say set. And here's why. Because I can't really decide which one I like better. But these 2 will come in at number 4. The logo looks good. The pink and the purple look really good in there all together. And then you add the guitar pick, and it works together. It's a very nice flowing pin on there. So that one's going to come in at the number 4 spot. Going in at number 3, we're actually going to have the championship pin. It's got really good logos to it. The art's fantastic, but the overall size of it is a little bit small. It does have 2 pins for some reason, even though the size is very, very small. But overall, I think the art's really, really good. And the only reason it's at 3 and not at the other 2 is because the other 2 are phenomenal. Coming in at number 2 is going to be the Xfinity 500. You can see we got our Xfinity logo here, Martinsville Speedway. See, Martinsville's written out. It's not the official Martinsville logo. That's probably the only reason this is not number 1. But you can see we got October 31st, 2021 with the correct color around it. The 500 is very, you can read it really easily because it's red and black. Matches the logo for the sponsor really well. But that brings it in at number 2. And number 1 is going to be this one here, the Dryden 400 at Dover. What else is there to say? You got the Dryden logo, the Dover Speedway logo, the date matching the kind of color combination of that above it, May 16th, 2021. this whole thing just fits perfectly. One of the best drawn-up logos of the season so far. I'm sure there's people that are going to argue that, the Coke 0400 pin is better. These are all just my personal opinions, but I really think this is one of the cooler pins. It does actually have a dual-layer pin on there, too. But overall, I just think this is a really nice-looking pin. I think the logo really does fit together the nicest. But again, these are all just my opinions. That's my top 10 from left to right, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let me know what your thought is as far as which one you thought was the best of the pins that I showed you today. Let me know if you've got any of these pins, because you were probably either at the race, maybe you collect some of these pins as well. Maybe there's a pin that was really, really hard to find that, I didn't even mention because you got it and I didn't. It's like I said, the Bristol Dirt Race would be definitely one of them. But yeah, talk about it in the comments below. I'm going to scooch these up so we have our top 10 in here. Because I want to make sure they're visible. There we go, getting them all tied together. But other than that, it's been a little bit of a weird Sunday. This is kind of one of the weirder, Sunday specials I've ever done. But I really wanted to do this one just because I really am liking a lot of these pins. I just think it's a really cool way to have a little, souvenir from a race you go to. The programs are fine. The event cars are pretty cool. But I think the pin is just one of the most... the best ways to capture the era, when you can look at that pin compared to something from, say, 2012, like a Dover pin here, you can see it looks like a 2012 pin. Then you can go to something as far back as 2004, the pin looks more like that. And so just the way that you can see how the pin ages with the times. But let me know your thoughts on these pins and which one's your favorite, what order you'd put them in, and which pins you have in your own collections. Other than that, that'll wrap up the video. Thanks for watching, everybody. Hope you've enjoyed the Sunday special. I know it's probably not as favorable as maybe diecast would be, but it's unique and I wanted to show them off. Next week we'll get into some more. Probably going to do all of the Martinsville win diecasts in my collection. So stay tuned for that next week. Make sure you turn on the bell. Thanks for watching. This has been Race Craze, and we'll see you in the next diecast review.